It's a little bit different, guys. Hello, hello. Welcome to Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
I am Logan.
I'm Jeffrey.
Okay, guys, welcome to another fantastic Friday. And when Friday comes around, you guys know that we always have our Youth Connect. Now, I hope that you guys are excited. It's going to be another amazing episode. We got a lot of people here today, and we have, of course, Logan. I got Jeff. I got Kevin, and everybody's going to be bringing you a little bit of interesting news. You got stuff like live music, video game news, good story news, cooking knowledge, some interesting facts. There is a mixed bag of everything, and I know that Youth Connect is going to be a show that you are going to absolutely love. Now, I will say, I hope you guys are excited because I know I am. And if you guys know, the main thing that we always have to do is actually something very important. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, that's okay, because next up, or first things first, is going to be some gaming news. Oh, goodness. So time to get into it. I apologize, guys. It seems like our restream is unable to do videos. So I will get into some gaming news. So interestingly, I wanted to bring up something that's very, very important. So if you guys have heard, Tomodachi Life is actually very, very, very cool game. It was released on the 3DS, and it was like a big dollhouse where players could watch these characters called Miis based on real life people, or sometimes based on characters online. It actually depended on whatever you decided on, and they really got into the weirdest kind of antics, and it was really, really fun. But something that was very interestingly is that the game was only released was released back in 2009, and that's a really long time. So interestingly enough, we actually got to see Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, a Nintendo Switch, not recreation, but a continuation of Tomodachi Life. And interestingly enough, I thought this was very interesting because Tomodachi Life is big on customizing your character's outfit, customizing their face, customizing their personality. But what was very interestingly was relationships. Very, very big thing for some people, because in the original Tomodachi Life, it was a big deal because there was unable to have people of the same gender, of no gender, because there were only male and female and would only allow same gender relationships. But Tomodachi Life Living the Dream has allowed people to have multiple options. There is now a third option called non-binary, which is very awesome because we love it, guys, when a game supports everybody in our wide, vast world that we have. And very interestingly, with the dating aspect, not only can you do straight relationship, same gender relationship, you can do no relationships at all. And it's very, very customizable. Now, interestingly enough, Nintendo's decision to leave out gay marriage out of Tomodachi Life was actually drew a lot of criticism. And in 2014, fans petitioned for Nintendo to add gay marriage. And unfortunately, I don't think it was actually answered. But Nintendo apparently did listen by allowing everybody to be included in this brand new rendition. I'm going to say that Miss Judith has been raving about it ever since I showed her the trailer yesterday. I kind of watched it a little bit earlier, so I was a little bit pre-informed. But you know what? It was always awesome to just have that option, because I've always thought to myself, what happens if you don't want to do this? What happens if you want to do the same gender relationship or no relationship? Because I've had some things, you know, some relationships, things like that, it just doesn't work sometimes. So having these options is great. And apparently it is going to, there are going to be more options shown as time goes on. Very interesting. So now, very interesting. This game will be releasing in April. So it's really just a month away. It's right around the corner. Miss Judith is counting the days down. And I'm going to keep it moving, guys, because it's important that we do. And next up, we do have Kevin with his all-important news, sports, and you know what? The most important thing, which is interesting facts. I'm going to try one more time. Let's see if it works. No, it does not. So, Kevin, I'm just going straight back to you, or straight to you.
Thanks, Aiden. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect News. I'm your host, Kevin Aruja. Here's what's making news today. Signal repairs near Union Station are ongoing, and reduced ghost transit train service is continuing on Thursday. Ontario's real estate regulator freezes bank accounts of 4 Mississauga brokerage. Raptors stumble in the score with 128 out of 126 lost to Timberwolves before NBA trade deadline. And Canada-Finland hockey postponed Big Morris to miss Big Air qualifying at Winter Games. The GO Transit said most of the tracks damaged in an earlier derailment are fixed, but signal work is still being done. Because of this, some train services will remain reduced on Thursday. The crews are still working just west of Union Station. On Wednesday morning, some delays happened because there were more passengers and fewer trains running. GO Transit said service stayed steady and extra trips were added to the Lakeshore East, Lakeshore West, and Milton lines. The derailment happened just after 8:15 a.m. on Monday. A passenger car at the back of a Kitchener-bound train came out of the tracks while the train was moving slowly. The train was removed from the area on Tuesday. No one was injured, and investigation into what caused the derailment is still ongoing. City News asked Metrolinx for an on-camera interview, but no response was given by Wednesday afternoon. Updates so far have only been shared through written statements. A crisis communications expert said during major incidents, it is important for agencies to communicate quickly, clearly, and often. Ontario's real estate regulator has frozen the bank accounts for Save Max brokerage in Mississauga. This happened after investigators found that $2.7 million was taken out of trust accounts illegally. The regulator called the Real Estate Council of Ontario, which is RECO, announced this on Tuesday. The investigation finished last month, and Peel Regional Police had been informed. RECO started looking into Save Max in 2024 after receiving a complaint about the brokerage. The investigation found that there was $2.7 million was used for things it was not allowed to be used for, such as loan payments, property management fees, taxes, credit card bills, and payment to vendors. RECO also hired an outside forensic expert to review the financial records. The regulator said that although the money was often put back before the end of a month, taking out of a first place was still illegal. Issued immediate suspension orders against the 4 brokerage and 2 individuals. RECO emphasized that trust accounts should only be used to hold deposits and facilitate real estate transactions, and funds can only be withdrawn in accordance with the trust rules. The Toronto Raptors played very well for the first half against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but in the second half they made too many mistakes. And Anthony Edwards played great because of that. The Raptors lost to 128 scores, out of 126 on Wednesday. Brandon Ingram scored the most points for Toronto with 25. After the game, he said the team needs to focus more on the basics. Scotty Barnes had a strong game too. He scored 22 points, grabbed 10 rebounds, and had 7 assists. This was his 102nd double-double, tying him with Pascal Siakam for 5th most in Raptors history. However, the team was more worried about other problems. This was the 4th game in a row where the Raptors scored 22 points or fewer in the 4th quarter. They also now had a 1-12 record against teams that are in the NBA's top 10. The Raptors only had 4 turnovers in the first half. but they had 9 in the second half. Backup center Sandro uh, Mamukelashvili, sorry for name butchering, said the team needed to be more careful with the ball, even if they weren't forcing bad passes. And now moving to sports news, Canada is already facing some problems before the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics had officially begun. Canada's preliminary hockey game will now be played on February 12th at the Milano Row Ice Hockey Arena. Canada is the defending Olympic champion after beating the United States for gold at the 2022's Beijing Olympics. In Group A, Canada will play Switzerland on Saturday, Czechia on Monday, and its longtime rival, the United States on Tuesday. Finland won the bronze medal at the last Olympics. In snowboarding, the men's big air qualification is set for Thursday night in Livigno. However, Canadian snowboarder Mark McMorris will not compete after crashing during a training session on Wednesday night, according to the Canadian Olympic Committee and Canada Snowboard. In mixed doubles curling, Canada's team of Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman defeated Norway with a 6 out of 3 on Thursday afternoon in Cortina d'Ampezzo. They started the tournament on Wednesday with a strong 10 out of 5 win over Skecia, Julie Zelengrova, and Chebenkovsky. In today's weather forecast, we've got scattered flurries this afternoon, and the temperature is now minus 3 degrees. And tomorrow we will get mainly sunny. The temperature will be minus 13 degrees. And moving forward for the interesting facts, I'm going to talk about Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is a tradition celebrated in parts of the United States and Canada on February 2nd each year. On this day, people watched a groundhog come out of its burrow. According to tradition, if the groundhog sees its shadows, winter will last 6 more weeks. If it does not see its shadow, spring will come early. In 2026, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter were predicted. And I got 6 interesting facts about Groundhog Day. The first fact is fraudulent forecasters. When groundhogs emerge this time of year, they're actually more interested in finding mates than making forecasts. The first ones to go above ground are usually males. That takes a few days to mark their territory and gauge potential partners before they head back into the burrows for another month of hibernation. The second fact is towering teeth. Groundhogs' teeth will stop growing, so gnawing on things to keep them from getting too long is essential. The animals usually use their powerfully regenerative teeth to break off pieces of food, defend themselves, and gather materials they might use to build their nests. The third fact is able architects. From the surface, a groundhog's burrow might just look like a hole in the ground, but in the inside, it can be elaborate. Burrows frequently have distinct chambers that act as bathrooms and bedrooms, multiple entrances and tunnels twisting through the earth that total as much as 65 feet in length. The fourth fact is accidental archaeologist. True, as groundhogs dig deep to create their burrows, they have sometimes stumbled upon historical relics. In at least 3 cases, groundhogs have helped locate new archaeological sites, including one of the oldest known sites as human habitation in North America, Pennsylvania's Meadowcroft Rock Shelter. The fifth fact is, which is medical models. Archaeologists isn't the only science groundhog help us with. They also help medical researchers better understand the connections between hepatitis B and liver cancer. Because the groundhog equivalent of HBV is so similar to that in humans, researchers can use them as a stand-in for people to understand how HBV caused their liver issues. And the last fact is numerous names. Groundhogs are conspicuous critters, the largest ground-dwelling rodent in the squirrel family. They are found throughout much of North America. They, their ubiquity means that many groups, including indigenous Americans, have had the opportunity to name them besides groundhog. A few of the more common names include woodchucks and whistle pig, referring to the chuck and whistle sounds they make or to their stocky rebuild or their stocky build. Would I be come to the end of my segment? Tune in for next week's news, weather, and your favorite topic, interesting fact. This is Kev Roja, and it's back to Aiden.
All right. So that is true. Groundhog Day is literally, guys, right around the corner. Well, actually, no, wait, I think it already happened. I apologize. I know that my mom and I had a very big discussion. She would say that she wants the groundhog to not see a shadow. And I don't know about you, but I hope that the groundhog does see a shadow, because that means that we're not getting early spring and we're getting a little bit more cold. Are you guys more of a winter person, or are you more of a spring person?
I'm more of a spring person.
Okay.
I'm more of a winter
okay.
person.
More of a winter person. Okay. Logan?
I'd go with spring.
Okay, some spring. Interesting. I think it depends on each person. I know that Miss Judith absolutely loves spring. That means she can start planting her plants, her starting plants, and the greenhouse is going to be pulled out of the storage in the basement, so that means it's going to get pulled back out. Thank you so much, Kevin. We always love that news. And you know what? That interesting fact, it just brings people in, you know? Thank you so much. All right, time to keep it moving, guys. I have to bring with you some interesting news. And what is this interesting news? It's not gaming news. It is, of course, some weird but true news, and of course, some facts. But I only have with you a true news because it's actually quite shocking. Okay, you guys ready for this? 3, 2, 1. So, guys, from Germany comes the story of the mountain of potatoes. That's what it's translated to. As far as the eye can see, going to feed anyone and everyone, and in Berlin and nearby towns. For German potato farmers, the early winter potato harvest has been a bumper crop. No, I would say even a huge pile, full on food bank buster crop. The potato flood, as it's being called, has crashed on Berlin, with food banks, homeless shelters, soup kitchens, schools, kindergartens, churches, and even zoos taking a free share of this amazing bounty. 2 whole semi-trucks were actually sent to Ukraine. Now, a school teacher from Karlsdorf said, "At first I thought this was some AI-generated fake news when I saw it on social media. But as shocking as it may be, there were literal mountains of these things called earth apples." Have you guys ever heard of the name earth apples for potatoes? I have, but it is definitely an interesting name. Now, I'm very surprised because goodness gracious. So basically, the amount of potatoes that was harvested was so much that they had, I'm pretty sure, guys, from guys, with one Leipzig potato farmer had a 4,000-ton surplus of potatoes. You know, there is actually a non-for-profit called 4,000 Tonnen, and it visited 174 distribution points across Berlin and its suburbs, welcoming people with bags, boxes, and even wheelbarrows to carry off the spuds. Berlin has been gripped with freezing weather of late, and that is very scary. But you know what's interesting about potatoes? Potatoes can survive even the harshest of weathers, and that's what makes them so amazing. But the fact that there were so many has people scratching their heads. Why? Now, a lot of people say that, did you guys know that Germans consume more potatoes per capita than almost any other country? At more than 120 pounds per person per year. 120 pounds, which is a lot. Interestingly enough, it has become a staple of their culture, their cuisine, and a lot of things. And did you guys know, if not eaten, potatoes actually will be sent to a landfill to decay away into methane gas, which will last a fraction of the time in the atmosphere as CO2 and has a much stronger contribution to the greenhouse effect in the atmosphere. So if you ever see somebody giving away free potatoes, make sure to take some. And as Miss Judith always tells us, try to get some so that we can plant it in the garden because potatoes are awesome. All right. Very shocking. I hope potato prices go down since apparently there's so many. I really am excited. All right. Time to keep it moving. I'm going to try this out, guys. Don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it as a group. Next up, we have we have Logan, and Logan's going to be sharing, of course, his cooking knowledge, and it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to hear what he has in store for us today.
Hello, Youth Connect. I am Logan, and for this week on Culinary News, Olive Garden is back in Toronto, baby. Along with that, we got some more news stories, a college suspending their culinary program, and a very oddball, bougie promotion for Valentine's Day from McDonald's. Stay tuned. Starting off with our first and most important piece of news, the iconic U.S. Italian restaurant chain Olive Garden is returning to Ontario in summer 2026, with new locations slated for Vaughan Mills in the Greater Toronto area, as well as Ottawa's Westboro neighborhood. After closing its Ontario locations decades ago, the brand is making a full comeback under the Recipe Restaurants Group. This group's portfolio includes brands that include the likes of Swiss Chalet, Harvey's, Priest. They have recently acquired Olive Garden Canada operations and is expanding the chain eastward. So expect classic Olive Garden menu items, including unlimited breadsticks and the famous tour of Italy, when these restaurants open back up. In other news, critics are biting back after St. Lawrence College announced 3 weeks ago that they would be suspending over 50 of their programs, including their culinary arts program. Currently enrolled students will finish this semester, set to complete in a few more months, but afterwards these courses will be rendered temporarily unavailable. St. Lawrence's claims that the reason for these program suspensions are due to a dramatic drop in the enrollment of international students due to recent federal restrictions. St. Lawrence's culinary program ran for 26 years and has seen thousands of graduates. These alumni and the students currently enrolled are devastated at the news and are hoping to see their programs return in the future. Last but not least for our news, McDonald's is celebrating Valentine's Day 2026 with a very quirky promotion. McDonald's and, McNuggets and caviar. McDonald's is offering their free McNugget caviar kits online starting February 10th, which aim to pair their iconic chicken McNuggets with luxury beery sturgeon caviar in collaboration with Paramount Caviar. Each of these limited edition kits will include a 1-ounce tin of caviar, a $25 McDonald's gift card to go buy your McNuggies, some creme fraiche, and a genuine mother of pearl caviar spoon. They'll be available exclusively at McNuggetCaviar.com while supplies last and will not be sold in restaurants. This campaign leans into a social media food trend blending fast food with high-end ingredients, which aims to offer a playful upscale experience just in time for the holiday. But anyways, that just about does it for all the news that I have this week. Thank you all for listening. Back to you, Aiden.
I don't know if my mom would buy me that amazing McDonald's caviar. You know, I might ask very politely while they have their date nights, can I please, pretty please have this McDonald's caviar just for a little bit of fancy time with me, myself, and I. Of course, I'm joking. I mean, to be honest with you, I know it's very expensive, but I might get it anyways because it sounds absolutely hilarious. It sounds very fancy, and but the issue is it actually going to stand? Like, Logan, do you think I'll actually be able to get a canister of this? Because to be honest with you, I feel as soon as it opens, it's going to be scraped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, that's usually what happens with these limited time promotions.
Everybody's getting their bots ready to pre-purchase everything. As much as I really want to get one, I don't think I'll be able to. And also, my dad was actually very much celebrating Olive Garden. Now, Jeff and of course Kevin, and of course you, Logan, have you guys been to Olive Garden before?
Yes, place? I have.
You have? What about you, Kevin?
Time.
Yep.
What place again?
Olive Garden. Have you been?
No, I haven't been to Olive Garden.
Okay. Well, if you guys need to know, Olive Garden has unlimited breadsticks, and that's their whole stick, and their giant meatball of doom. I like their giant meatball of doom. I think it is very, very funny. If you guys want to see a photo of the giant meatball of doom, I will more than likely send it in the future or have it for the next episode of Youth Connect. So stay tuned. All right. Thank you so much, Logan. Very interesting news today. I'm very excited to see Olive Garden come back. And you know what? Hopefully my mom's able to get me one of those fancy caviars. All right. So finally, it's time for your community news. Because, guys, you know what? The community is busy. And actually, this week is super busy. And next week's even more busy. So, as you guys know, from Monday to Friday, we always started off with our morning chat. Always important to have it. And on Monday, we actually kicked off things with the friendship dance meeting. It was a very high energy planning session where we began forming to help shape the friendship dance into a community-driven event. And we got some really, really good ideas. On Tuesday, we really baked something sweet with Miss Jenna. Aprons were on, and we created flour cookies. And I will say Miss Judith's flour cookies definitely were interesting. On Wednesday, we had music club, and you know what? The team worked on song selection, confidence building, and of course, continued to develop their 2026 music book. On Thursday, with me, we did art, and we did our third pillar, which is the pillar of shape. And we learned about how a shape is a line that goes, well, you guys know a line is a dot that goes for a walk, but a shape is a line that ends and begins fully. So let's say if I was drawing a square, I would do a line and then come back to where I originally started. From start to finish, that is a shape. And we learned about that and we practiced some art and it was amazing. And unfortunately, on Friday, we were supposed to have geography, but you know how it goes. We get busy, life happens, and that's okay. This Sunday, of course, we have floor curling. Everybody's excited for that. But very, very exciting. Next week, we will be gathering for a drumming circle and, of course, the Valentine's Connection, creating some very fun times and, of course, having our drumming circle. I know it's very important to have those drumming circles because that's how we connect, guys, by doing these events. I am going to say it's getting busy, guys, and I hope that you guys can keep up because it's going very, very fast. Anyways, that has been your community news. Remember, if you want to stay tuned with your community news, make sure to check out our website, which is superabilitycrew.com. Anyways, though, I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to say that next up, if you guys are ready, and I hope that you are, we are getting ready for our musician of our group. We have Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's going to be bringing us, what is it going to be? Some live music, of course.
Hello, everybody. I am Jeffrey, and I'm bringing you some music for you guys today. And this song is one of my original songs. It's very, let's say, very crunchy and yummy. It's about cookies, and it's called Cookie, I Love You. Hope you enjoy. Just gotta say when you look at me and I'm special. I wanna love you, still you feel it in my mouth. I love you, Cookie, I truly do. I wanna have my heart as you do. Let me dunk you 1, 2. Feel my first impression 3, 4. Ready, 5, 6. Another mix 7, 8. I love is real. It definitely Cookie, I love you. A cookie, you're so true. Cookie, multiply my feelings for you. Your crumble bites get my blood thumping. Soft center gets my hips bumping. My tongue remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams, this is a race. I've got to get my face. Donkey wants to build my first impression. 10 and more, 5, 6. Love is real. Cookie, I love you. Cookie, you're so true. Cookie, you multiply my feelings for you. Your cripple bites get my blood thumping. South center gets my hips bumping, yeah. My tongue remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams, this is a race. I've got to feel my face. Feel your pain. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician. See you all next week. Check out my website, jeffrankelman.com. Anyways, it's back to Aiden. Bye, everybody.
Oh my gosh, guys, we love Cookie. You know what? With this song, we made Cookie I Love You, and literally we started a Cookie fan club. You know what? You always say, you take one bite and then you just gotta dance because you love those cookies. And amazing work to everybody. You guys did fantastic. And thank you so much, Jeff. I want to say thank you so much to Logan. Thank you so much to Kevin. Thank you, of course, to Jeff for doing the music. You guys are absolutely amazing. It's so awesome to work with you. And you know what? It does. If you look at the time, actually, if you look at the time, it is unfortunately the end of Youth Connect. Now, if you did like Youth Connect, I need you to do a few things for me. I need you to like, I need you to comment, and of course, I need you to subscribe.
And don't forget to click the bell.
Other than that, guys, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Do something fun. Do something interesting. And other than that, have a great rest of your day. You know what? Do something fun. Spend time with family. That's the most important thing. And we will catch you on the next episode. Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.